Test, test, test. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably sounds fine. Fine enough. Test, test, test. Test, test. Whatever. Welcome to the Bartenders Anonymous podcast, episode 18. Kind of strange to think that we've done 18 of these motherfuckers, but here we are. This one is very late because I had kind of a weird week. Only worked one day, so it's not because of work. But you can not even have a job and still have a busy life, apparently. Yeah, so let's see. What's the fucking day today? Today's Wednesday. Last week, I don't know. I just had a fucking weird week. I went to a Ducks game. The Ducks beat the shit out of Colorado. I am not what you would call a Ducks fan, but when you know people to know people, you accidentally just end up there. And my cat is strangling herself on my headphone cable. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Go away. Yeah, so I went to the Ducks game, and no, it was fun. This is probably the first game since high school that I went to and didn't drink at. So, not that it was any less fun. It was just sitting around like an old man with some other old men. There was a couple of young bucks just going hard on the seltzers. And that was really the only difference. We sat around and just be around each other and watch football. But it was fun. I like going and doing things sometimes. Get me out of the house. Not like I got a lot on the agenda. I'm just fucking killing time for another month or so. So it was cool. Wasn't hungover. I remembered the whole thing. Just you stand up, you sit down, you clap. But it's weird you almost feel like a spy. I'm I don't really care that much. But this is fun. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you guys are excited. Yeah, so that was chill. Whatever. Not much drama because the Ducks beat them 50-6 or something like that. I think we left 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then you hang out in the parking lot and you watch a different football game. It was I don't know, I felt like an old man. Just being around some other old men watching a fucking TV in the back of an SUV. They had a pretty sweet setup, I'm not gonna lie. They got the freaking satellite dish on the top of their SUV thing, and they just set up lawn chairs and barbecue and had some good-ass brisket, hot dog. Drank 3 soda pops, because what else are you going to do? Nicotine pouches and soda pop. Living that dream. So I had... Let's see my freaking notes here. Oh, they changed my fucking counselor. So, I go in, and it's this red-haired chick that's the newbie that was kind of in training or whatever. And my lady that I've gotten used to, the older lady that's super cool, she's just not there. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, so and-so transferred to Salem, so I'm going to be the counselor now. I'm just like, fuck. All right. Well, we still got to do this, so you're the teacher now. And she's like, yeah, we'll get through it together. I'm so fucking awkward. But makes sense when you've got somebody that's super experienced and she's literally just been teaching me and sometimes some other crazy lady. So they transferred her where she could be teaching more people, and then we'll just have this rookie. One other girl did show up that's relatively normal. So that's cool just to have somebody else in there so I'm not like trying to keep conversations going, just me and the fucking counselor. So somebody to add to the group. But newbies being kind of by the book, there's no cutting the class short. So we're there for fucking 2 hours. So that's not ideal, but whatever. I do look at the calendar and I see that we're like more than halfway through this shit. So we're getting through it. Time is, sometimes it feels really slow and sometimes it feels like, oh shit, we're like a month through. We're good. We're all right. Yeah, so we're moving along. Progress is progress. Baby steps, all that. So trying to stay positive. The lady is still not moved out. So I don't know. I can't really clean up my house the way I want to and move stuff around, and it's hard to get into any kind of fucking routine when there's somebody living here that you've broken up with and you're in this weird coexisting mode. But I don't know. The way the world is now, it's not so easy to just go get an apartment. So trying to be realistic and just be copacetic, and everything's going to be okay eventually. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to sleep in and I'm going to fucking play video games and just kill all the time. The rain is among us, so BMX bike is put in the garage. Luckily, I did get my blowy device, so I got the blowy thing in the truck, and I am officially mobile, which is also good, because I don't remember, I think it was Sunday or one of the last days I worked. It was like one of the last days I rode my bike before it was raining, and the way the world works sometimes is very funky, and I triple checked everything. I was getting done with all my bar closing duties, and I check it like one more time, and I'm shutting the back door so it's all locked up, and I turn my head and somebody's riding a little BMX bike around the corner, and I'm like, no fucking way. And I look over and my bike is gone, and I chase this motherfucker into the dark, and he disappears. And so I go to the left. So I'm like, I gotta just pick a direction, because like he's gonna get away. It's like a 50-50. So I go left. There's a lady sitting on the curb, and I'm like, hey, did you see a guy ride a BMX bike this way? And she's like, no. I'm like, fuck. So I turn around and I go right. I start walking, and this guy kind of emerges out of the darkness walking towards me. And I'm like, hey, did you see a motherfucker riding a bike that way? And he just looks me in the eye and he goes, no, man. And I'm like, fuck. And he kind of walks away, and I go back and check where my bike was, make sure I wasn't mistaken. And yes, my bike is gone, and my little lock is cut and laying on the ground. So I pick that up, and I'm like, fuck. And I go back around the corner. I'm like, you never know. Maybe I'll see him. I'll get him. And part of me wanted to just go, fuck it. It's just a bike. Fuck that. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I've got all this shit going on, and I'm trying to be a good boy. And then some motherfucker still is going to mess with your stuff. And so I just start kind of speed walking back where I had just come from, and I see a guy just mobbing towards the Safeway, and I'm like, hey, you motherfucker, I see you. And I book it, and I'm chasing him, and just instinctively pull out my phone and like call 911, which in retrospect, I don't know, he probably called a non-emergency number, but you know, I'm pissed, and I'm like, what do you do? Get the cops. These cops have fucked me over. I would like to put them to work. So I call 911, and I'm all huffing and puffing and running, and I'm like, hey, this fucking guy stole my bike. He cut my bike lock, and I'm chasing him behind the Safeway. And he's like, what's your location, sir? And I'm like, behind the Safeway. And I'm like, I got eyes on him because I can see him kind of in the distance. And I'm like, I see you, motherfucker. And the operator's like, sir, we advise you not to approach him. And I'm like, it's kind of late. It's kind of too late for that. So, and I don't, for whatever reason, the guy turns around and like rides the bike towards me. And I'm like, no fucking way. It's about to go down. And he just like, he gets to me and he's like, hey man, let's talk. And I'm like, dude, I just want my bike back. I don't want anything weird. I don't want to fight you. I just want my fucking bike back. And he's like, he like just kind of hands it over to me. And he's like, if you want to get off the phone, we can talk. And I was like, no, man, like I'm not getting off the phone so we can talk about you stealing my bike. You fucking fuck. And I'm just like, dude, I caught you fair and square. Like, I just want my fucking bike back. I don't want to fight. Let's just call it a day. And he's like, all right. And he just walks away. Like, just hands me my bike and walks away. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I kind of look over my shoulder, make sure he's not going to try anything weird. And he just walks away. And the 911 operator's like, do you still need police? And I was like, no, I think we're good. He just like gave it back. I was like, thank you very much. I'm sorry for calling about a stupid bike, but you know, it's important to me. And they're just like, have a good night, sir. And I just rode my bike home. And that was the fucking weirdest shit. So that was like the biggest excitement of my week. And so we're going to just call that a win that I didn't lose my $300 bike. And I put that shit in the garage, and it's rainy season now anyways, and I got my truck back, so lesson learned with the bike riding. Need to get a better lock. But also, I kind of think my lock might have had something to do with it, because my old bike lock had seized up, and so I threw it away, and I've been using the lock for my 9mm, and so the brand is HK, and so the lock says HK on it, and like it's kind of obviously like a pistol lock, and that's what I've been locking my bike up with. So he very well may have thought that I had a fucking gun, because he cut it, he sees it, and then he just sees a crazy guy yelling motherfucker, and like, I've been backpack guy, so I've got like my freaking, I'm like got my backpack strapped up, and I'm chasing this motherfucker pretty confidently, which on the inside I was not that confident. I was scared shitless. I was like, this guy's gonna fucking stab me, but I want my bike back. So I think secretly we were both terrified of each other, and he just gave it back, and that was that. So I guess sometimes just looking like you might have a gun is actually helpful. Like, I'm not a concealed carry guy. I'm not carrying a fucking pistola on me. But I've been trying to not be a pussy, so I fucking chased this motherfucker down, and he just gave it back. So that was that. And yeah, it was fucking nuts. So sometimes it works out, but like in retrospect, I was like, damn, that could have gone so horribly wrong. And also, he could have just ridden off into the night, and he would have my bike, and there would be like nothing I could do about it. So, yeah, that was pretty freaking weird, but shit happens, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. In other news, I've been trying to be semi-productive at work and contribute, and I've been wanting to talk about like the drink menu with this other like veteran bartender, and she was in there. We actually worked together on a Tuesday, and she gets off work and like she has a drink, and like I'm in my head I'm like kind of wanting to talk shop, but she's got a bunch of stuff going on at home, and so she's all stressed out, and she ends up like having a bit of a breakdown, and like starts crying and stuff about life, and I'm just like, ay, 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 I'm not fucking prepared for this. I don't know you that well. And luckily there was a regular in there that she kind of knew, so she ended up talking with her, and I was like, I'm gonna go do the lottery machines because I don't know what to do. Like at one point, she says something about like, what am I supposed to do or whatever, and I just looked at her in the eyes and was like, I don't know. And she's like, I'm not expecting you to give me the answers, Tanner. And I was like, point taken. That was rhetorical. Gotcha. But she's like, thank you for just being a human and looking me in the eyes. And I was like, that's all I know what to do. I don't know what to do. So definitely wasn't talking about drink menu that night. And but so then the next night it was like pretty slow. Sent some of the servers home, and so it was just me and the one server that closed, and I had a couple of drink ideas rolling around, and so I was like, well, since there ain't shit going on, we want to sample some drinks? And she's like, yeah, sure, I'll try some drinks. And so we made a couple of kind of fall, October-y bullshit drinks. Made one that was like a hot chocolate drink with, what did I put in there? With Frangelico and peanut butter whiskey. So it's like a peanut butter, hazelnut, hot chocolate kind of thing. And she tried that. She liked that one. And then the other one I did Drambuie and... oh, no, I mixed that up. So the first one was Frangelico and a caramel whiskey. So it was a caramel whiskey, hazelnut, hot chocolate was the first one. And then the other one was ended up using Drambuie and the peanut butter whiskey. That's what it was. And that one's a coffee drink. So that one was a little more potent. And so she really liked the first one, the hot chocolate one. And then the second one, like she tried it at first and she was like, ooh, that's pretty potent. And I can't really try anything because I'm like, I can't have alcohol in my system. And then also I got my blowy thing in my truck. So I'm like, I don't want to have alcohol in my breath when I'm trying to drive home. So I did at one point, I straw tested it and I like kind of switched it around, got the flavor profile, and then I just like spit it in the garbage because I was like, I'm not taking any chances. But after the whipped cream and stuff, and I put a little cinnamon nutmeg on it, and once that kind of melted down into the drink, she tried it later, like, because we're just bullshitting and talking and stuff, and then she kind of kept trying them, and she's like, you know what, actually, like, once the whipped cream gets into it and stuff, like, this one's actually pretty good. So those two turned out pretty good. We tried another one with, like, a vanilla crown in the Drambuie, and she didn't like that one very much, so we scrapped that one. So we got two solid drinks, and I sent them to that one coworker, and she's like never messaged me back. She's like, I got a bunch of shit going on apparently. So she probably doesn't even want to think about drink menu stuff. And I'm like, well, I only work 1 day a week, so I'm down to tinker around with some drinks because I'm like, I barely feel like a bartender. Just pouring Pepsis and shit all the time. So trying to get creative and make some shit. And so I sent them to we have like a group message. So I sent them to the group message and they were intrigued. So we'll see if we actually get them put onto some kind of menu. Something. But felt like progress. And it was funny because I'd sent them to the group message and then the goofball that doesn't work there anymore, the dumb guy, I called him. I'm going to stop calling him the dumb guy because he's kind of grown on me, even though he's not even there anymore. But he fucking, I think he's still part of the group message. And so I get a text and it's like, I miss your fine ass or something like that with a winky face. And I was like, why do I feel like this is that guy? And I was like, is this so-and-so? I got a feeling it is. And he's like, yeah, it totally is. And he's like in Hawaii, just fucking picked up and moved to Hawaii. And he's like working on a cruise ship. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is some goofball just has the balls to get on a plane and go to Hawaii and just like snag a job and just living his best life? I'm like, fucking good for you, dude. Like, it didn't work out here. You didn't fit in here good, and You just freaking moved to Hawaii. It's like, man, I've always been envious of people that can do that shit. And I'm like, I'm a pussy. I'm not doing that. I like home base. I like having my little mothership. And then I'll stretch out from there. But I don't know. So, the world works in very mysterious ways. The universe and whatnot. So, I don't know. And I've been trying to find time to do this shit and trying to stay motivated, but you can probably hear it in my voice that I'm feeling kind of just like I just want to nap for a month until I have my life completely back. But baby steps, one day at a time. I know you guys are all going through your bullshit and stuff, so I hope you keep your head up. Try and stay motivated. Don't get too down in the dumps because it's pretty easy to do, especially when the weather turns to depressing mode. So play some video games and live your life because it could always be worse. And whatever. So, Bartenders Anonymous podcast. We're still going. Been trying to change the music at work when it slows down, and sure enough, like one day I changed it, and it's like a couple songs go by that are fine, but there's still a family in there. Like one fucking family that's got a kid, and then 9 Inch Nails comes on. And it's like, I want to fuck you like an animal. Like, God damn it, I gotta go change that. So I still can't really change the, don't change the station until everybody's out of there. Let's see, guy steals my bike. I've been sports betting. I got DraftKings. I've been throwing just like $10 at every football game. I'm about even. Blah, blah, blah. My life is kind of boring except for pretending I'm Batman, retrieving my bike, even though I'm scared shitless. So, lock your bike up good. Get a good hefty lock. Or a fucking pistola lock so they think you have a gun. Also could be effective. Alright, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to sign off. I don't know when I'll do another one of these because my routine is just fucking retarded right now. So things will be normal someday, but they are not right now. So do you, boo-boo. I love you guys. Hope you have a good month. It's almost October. Spooky season. Enjoy your fucking pumpkin spice-ass lattes. And I will talk to you in a week or so. Alright, signing off. Peace be with you. And all that jazz.